Why is capitalism so fucking tempting? Hello. I'm in China. To say that that's a story for another day is an understatement. I wanted to make a video response, never not making a video response to Hannah from My Beauty Budget. If you remember, at the beginning of 2019, I made a video responding to her video about doing a no-buy year, pledging to not buy anything you didn't need, clothes, makeup, excess-wise, for a year. I pledged to 6 months and I did it. That ended at the end of June. Hannah's thoughts about the world have really been peppering my own thoughts throughout the year, and watching her content has made me be able to articulate things that are already bothering me in my head. And I love videos like that. I love content like that. I know there's a lot of skepticism around YouTube and its real value and its real impact and whether people still care about it, but for me, like, moments like that really solidify my faith in the point of all this, the point of it all. So in brief, the impact of the no-buy year on my life and my constant booty calls fuckboy relationship with capitalism. I really enjoyed doing my no-buy half year. I think it had a really great impact on my finances and also on my relationship to shopping, but I definitely don't think it's over. The kind of relationship between challenges, self-help and purity are like things that need more unpacking when you interact with them, I think, because again, banning yourself from something and then being inherently naughty for breaking it, whether that's a relationship with food or shopping or any behaviour that you view as problematic or against your own values, is hard, because existing in a system isn't the same as endorsing a system. And I am learning a lot at the moment about the trappings of existing within a system and how much one individual can really break out of that without doing the work of unraveling the whole fucking thing for everyone, and how that's not always achievable with one person, one lifetime, one challenge. I really enjoyed the no-buy challenge. I feel conflicted about updating you on it because I definitely didn't fail. I bought way less stuff than I ever did. I think I worked out that I bought like maybe 5 things that were not essential, let's be real. 1 or 2 of them were charity shop buys, which I feel better about, and actually after I'd used them for their purpose. One was a really massive synthetic coat that I bought when I went for going to Iceland. I'd never been in temperatures like that, and while that wasn't really a need, I guess I could have just layered up. Like, having one coat that definitely would keep me warm the whole day, and then I could just like take off and it wasn't this big epic project, was amazing and make my trip better. And actually after the trip I returned that coat to the charity shop because I knew I wouldn't need it again. So I kind of like that idea almost of like borrowing again, because my huge concerns about climate change, see here, make me really worried about not using stuff to the end of their life, not putting into circulation enough of the stuff that's actually sitting stagnantly in my house. That made me feel really good. But there were a few moments where I definitely bought out of anxiety. That was anxiety I was going to an event and I thought that I wouldn't like fit in, or I wouldn't look professional enough, and again, when you exist in a system that expects you to look a certain way or look a certain age to get jobs and be valid and network in a professional way. I don't know, I don't have self-confidence issues, but I definitely will go to certain things or be hired for certain jobs where I don't feel qualified to do it, and to make myself feel more qualified, I want to look more qualified. Does that make any sense? So I bought in an anxious way around that. It definitely made me realise that just cognitively stopping a thing doesn't stop the reason that you do it from existing. Hannah talks in her new video about aping wealth when you're not wealthy, and just accepting that you might not be wealthy, and then also kind of letting go of this perfect idea of what your life will be and should be, and that just like I thought murder was illegal, Hannah, you slayed me. Her version of it was saying that she kind of was picturing this big mansion that she'd one day live in and be a luxurious person that could whimsically buy luxurious things. And because she didn't get that life and she didn't see that that was in her actual future, she kind of bought the accessories of that life and surrounded herself with the small things of that life to make her feel like she'd kind of it happened, rather than just accepting that it hadn't, and that maybe she didn't even want it. And for me it's the reverse almost, or like this but the same. Circular, in that I think, and this relates to my the Christianity I was quite, like, in some ways I feel like I was like not, but in some ways I think I was quite devout. Like yeah, the Christianity that I lived within up until the age of like 21, 22 I guess is when I was really like and part of that like is what I think is kind of the good part of the interpretation of Jesus's words, even though who fucking knows if he even said them, because they were written like 100 years after he actually lived, so that's a whole other video. Is the relationship between like like before the word minimal. I didn't even know the word minimal when I was 21, but like the idea of having a very simple life and less, and not like optional, not poverty, opt in bare basics kind of life, like not like seeing a value and a worth to giving your money away. They're the kind of people that I followed when I was, who I idolised when I was like 19 or 20, which makes me feel really different sometimes to the people that I'm friends with now, because like they talk about the people that I idolised and I was like, I was really into Shane Claiborne, man, I don't know where you were. I had friends that were in the Jesus Army and they like live through common purse, which means they don't own any possessions officially, which also I think has its interesting implications practically. But like they're the people that I looked up to when I was like a teenager, were the people who owned nothing and the people who just didn't have a home and like travelled in the world but not of the world. Then the rebellion from that I guess has been like, oh, I'm just gonna buy loads of stuff because that's what people who are how did this get into a religion chat? Why does everything with me what's going on? But yeah, I like a rebellion from that was like, oh, I'm not under that system anymore, I don't subscribe to that morality or those rules, so I'm gonna buy what the fuck I want. And that I think it's worth acknowledging that while you don't agree with your past self, there's a reason that you were attracted to certain ideas and values, and not just throwing the baby out with the holy sacred bathwater, you know? I think the 6 month no buy, which I think is gonna have to turn into a no buy year after some reflection, a very failed, very flawed, fucked up no buy year. That's what the 6 months so far taught me. Being one way and then rejecting that and then trying to live in the opposite way is an amazing pitch for a book. It's an amazing TED talk. It's an amazing story to tell your friends, but it's actually probably not a great way to actually execute your life. I think slowly customizing your life and pulling out the strands of it that you think are toxic and keeping the core parts of it that you know that you believe is a really boring story and a really ideal way to live. And isn't that always the way? What I'm trying to say with this video is that I think, I mean, creatively, financially, career-wise, I guess, I have really been processing at the approach to 30. I'm so excited. In this run-up, and what people have now reminded me is my 30th year, even though I haven't turned 30 yet. I am living my 30th. In the run-up to my 30th birthday, what I've really been like thinking about in the back of my head, I don't meditate, I don't really take any time to think at all. I'm not a mindfulnesser, there is no quiet here to be had. But the things that I think about at the back of my head, while the front of my head is trying to interact with people and seem like a social being, the things that are going on back here at the moment are to do with independence versus community, success, and what that looks like for me, and then emotionally having to let go of all the things that I can't do because I've redefined what success is for me. Choosing between the impact I could have on my own happiness as an individual if I did exactly what I wanted, versus the impact that I could have long term on a collective experience and a better society for all. But a better society for all if I stop thinking about just what I want to do. And because that sounds like allegorically and through studies, through anecdotes, through film scripts, just sounds like when you do exactly what you want to do just for you, and you behold yourself to a success standard that you made up when you were younger, just sounds like it's not actually that happy. Most people who are rich and famous don't seem that fucking happy, to be honest. They're not selling it to me. You're not selling it to me. Yeah, like choosing between those two things, or maybe thinking about the scale and whether there's a compromise between both of those. things. Do you see what I mean? What am I chatting? I don't even know. But basically, in summary, I will be doing a no buy year because this shit fucked. So basically also, like, I got to the end of the 6 months, I lost some weight. Gonna do a radical thing on the internet now as a woman and not volunteer any more information about that. Not interested in talking about it, don't ask me. In summary, my body changed and therefore some of my clothes were no longer fit for purpose. I think it may be radical at this point on the internet to leave it at that. So when it came to the end of the 6 months, I like did buy some more clothes and I got rid of a lot of clothes, and I was just like, okay. And loads of those decisions I feel good about. Some of them were made in an anxious state, some of them weren't healthy, and I think I definitely bought too much. But at the end of the day, I'm now looking at a wardrobe that fits me better, looks better, is more functional, and is more ethical, and takes less decision making and less swapping and changing, trying to match shit together. Like, essentially I own a lot of dresses and a lot of jumpsuits because I am not, like, I've decided that I don't want any part of my life to be made up of like, does this top go with this bottoms? No, get behind me, Satan, we will be jumpsuiting. Although in China, jumpsuits, not so great because there's a lot of squat toilets, and if you've ever had to get naked in a squat toilet and then tried not to piss on your own jumpsuit, it's my camera turned off, fuck you. Oh no, not in, go out, oh dear. Yeah, I feel like I went through like about a month of being like, you're allowed to buy clothes now. So then thinking about all the clothes I've been thinking about for 6 months, buying the stuff that I really needed, some of the stuff that I genuinely wanted, and coming to terms with the fact that I had kind of technically failed the no buy in that I bought way less than I ever would have before, but I definitely did purchase some things, four things that I didn't need. And just being a fucking nice person to yourself, being like, okay, that's cool, still love you, still think you did really well. You know, like that's sometimes like sadly really radical, just to be like a decent human to yourself. In summary, if there is a summary to this video, I am gonna do to the end of the year, trying not to buy any new makeup or clothes that I haven't fully run out of that item and it's not one of the key items. So as soon as I get back to the UK, I'll be starting that. I wonder if, I'd love to hear how any of you who did no buy, you're doing no buy years, how it's gone. I know a lot of you commented in the video that I made in January, saying that you wanted to do something similar, so I'd love to hear how you got on. Has it made you have to fuck with your own insecurities and head? And I hope so, because then I will be less alone. There are shops everywhere, man. That's another thing that I realised on my no buy. I was like, oh my god, like when you want to go anywhere, especially I live in London I guess, but like anywhere, like you will pass at least 8 or 9 shops that are literally trying to appeal to you, and there's like fucking scents wafting out and music playing and people being like, hey, over here, and it's like some kind of like sick fairground joke if you're trying not to buy stuff, and it's the shittest, most privileged problem ever. Aware, but I like, because of the no buy year, I started giving to more people on Patreon that I love. I signed up to a few more direct debits for charities. I saved a fuck ton of money, less time on ASOS, more time working on my personal projects, and was able to go part-time at my job, partly to do this, partly to freelance and do other weird projects that I'm working on, and it had this incredible impact on my life. Even though I failed at it, did I fail? I didn't. Tell me in the comments. So yeah, the fight goes on. I don't know why I thought 6 months would cure me. It didn't, and I will be continuing. I hope that's the update that you wanted, because it's the update you're getting. I continue to try and balance the dichotomy between dreams and working hard and pushing the boundaries of what you think you're capable of, and being happy with the life you have, not being nice to yourself, balancing your stress levels and your own personal temperament with what success would demand of you. Do you see why I can't meditate? And yeah, I would love to hear how you guys are getting on with it, because it's a really interesting topic, and I'd like to talk more about letting go of your dreams and then building other ones, and stop using the word dreams because it makes me feel a bit sick in my mouth. Getting better at the shit you do should be a dream. That's the dream. Not even being recognised for it, not even being paid for it, just knowing that you're better at it than you were, that sounds great to me. Purity is a trap, apathy is a trap, somewhere in between, we're all trying to live our fucking lives. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support this absolutely chaos demon channel, I have a Patreon club called the Gumption Club. We have a secret Facebook group. When you sign up, you get a free poetry collection and also a free short story now. I've been sending out a massive amount of free books because I'm trying to rid myself of the ocean of books that I'm not a perfect person. I don't know why I think I'm going to read all these books in my lifetime. I might have maybe about 5 or 6 years worth of reading at the pace that I'm going at now, which is not okay. So I've been giving away a lot of books as well to my Gumption Clubbers. If you're interested in that, the links are below. And I will see you on my next one, back in the UK. Yes, Frog Snug out.